Good evening, everyone. This is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of Sublimation Graphics and Tutorials here on Facebook. If you're joining us on YouTube, be sure to come join our Facebook video or our Facebook group. As you can see, Jasper wants to say hello. And if you are joining us on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link is in the description for this video. So I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but sometimes you see sublimation blanks and you just think, what on earth would I ever do with that? How would I sell that? How would I market it? I find that this to be one of the biggest challenges of the sublimation industry when you look at things that are not your typical blank, such as, a typical blank is a shirt, a pillow cover, coffee mug, things that we know are going to sell. So today I'm really referring to aluminum plaques. Now, when I think of an aluminum plaque, I think of like the parking, like bedroom parking signs, or maybe like a vanity parking sign for your driveway, vanity street signs, things like that. And those are pretty common. I mean, you can go to the mall and buy them. So there isn't really anything super special. And that makes it a little bit more difficult to try and promote that particular item. However, one of the easy things that you can do is incorporate an aluminum sign into something else. So with the holiday season in full swing and Christmas right around the corner, I decided today was the perfect day to go ahead and make myself a wreath. I do not have wreath making skills. It's just something I've tried and just cannot seem to succeed at. So I went ahead and bought a pre-made wreath, which we are going to be using what's called an aluminum building sign from Sublimation 101. Tonight, and I'm going to show you guys how to quick and easy make that into a sorry, Jasper's licking my arm. Make that into a wreath for roughly $20 that you can easily sell for $40 or $50. That will probably take about 20 minutes of your time start to finish. So let me turn you guys around and I will show you what we're working with. All right, so this kind of gives you an idea of what we're working with. As I mentioned, we're going to be using one of the building sign plaques from Sublimation 101. These come in a variety of sizes. They are Unisub Aluminum, which if you've never used anything from Unisub, these sub absolutely beautifully. I love sublimation aluminum in general. I sell the bookmarks made out of them. I love the ornaments, pretty much anything. They just always come out so vibrant and beautiful and really nice quality. So if you haven't tried something aluminum to sublimate, I definitely recommend that. So when you get your panel, it's going to have this protective coating on, which is nice and yellow to make it easier to know it's on there, and you're going to peel that off. I am going to let you guys know that I actually bought this last year with the intent on doing this demo last Christmas, but I didn't get a chance to because of, everything with Hurricane Florence and then the holidays coming right after that. So I actually had this bent during the year. So I did kind of gently hammer it back out with a mallet. So you'll see mine has a little bit of a crack in the coating. Yours will not normally have that. But since I was just making this wreath for myself, I was not going to go and order a whole nother plaque. So to me, it's going to be in the corner. It'll probably be hidden by the greenery anyways. So that next you want your transfer. Honestly, you don't need a special template for this. It's just a rectangle. You can use the rectangle shape tool in any design program, including Silhouette and Cricut. I sized mine to be 5.125 inches by 12.125 inches. So our plaque is 5 inches by 12 inches, and this gives us just a little bit extra, so that we can make sure we get full coverage without any issues. I just put this together. It's nothing really special. This is a free font I got from Hungry JPEG sometime last year. It's called DARLESTON. It's actually one of my favorite holiday script fonts. I think it's very elegant and pretty. And then I just used the DH Snowflakes Dingbat font to create a border and some buffalo plaid digital paper from Etsy. Next, you're going to want some sort of a wreath. If you made your own, that's awesome. I did not. Mine came from Walmart. The price isn't on it, but I'm pretty sure it was like $12, which I thought was not a bad price for for this wreath. I do think it's really pretty. I just pulled a piece of greenery out that I'm gonna have to shove back in. But I thought this would have like a nice look for $12. You know, if you're reselling these, that might not be the price point that you want, but most wreaths today sell for $50 and up. Even when you go and look at the ones that are pre-made at like AC Moore and Michaels and things like that, even those ones are $50 and up. So keep that in mind, that you're still going to make a good profit with the materials we're using today if you are reselling this, but otherwise this is great just to make for yourself or to make as a gift. We're going to want some string, or you can use zip ties. I just got some yarn here that I had laying around to both attach the sign and attach the ribbon. You can buy a pre-made bow, or I'm going to attempt to show you guys how to make a bow. I've only successfully done it once, so we're going to hope for the best. But these buffalo plaid and the metallic snowflake one were left over from Walmart ribbon that I bought for my Christmas tree. And then this one actually came from the Dollar Tree. And I see a lot of tutorials on YouTube for making bows using ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And you kind of can't beat it because it's just about the right length for a nice big bow. And if all three of these had been from the Dollar Tree, this would have been $3 in ribbon, $6 for our plaque, $11 or $12 for our wreath. So that puts us at $21, and we'll say about 50 cents for our transfer. So if you're selling this at $50, you're going to have a almost $30 profit margin on one of these wreaths. So just something to keep in mind. And then of course, we're just going to need some heat tape. This is from Amazon, as is the dispenser. I'm going to go ahead and get our transfer lined up first. Oh, and a bucket of water. This is not required, but I prefer to dip my aluminum stuff in the bucket of water to stop the sublimation process. I find that if I don't, it tends to get a little blurry as it's cooling. So this is just a fast way. And also, since I want to actually show you guys how to put the wreath together, it made more sense to have the bucket ready. And this is just a 5-gallon bucket. I've used it a million times. It's a little dirty. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll peel off our coating first. You can see that it came right off, no problem. And one side's white and one side's silver, so that makes it pretty easy. You can see where I was talking about where I hammered that. And let me see. I turn this around because I want to make sure the hammered side has the best chance of being covered up by the ribbon that I'm going to put. Again, even though it is for me. So you'll see I've got that little edge I was talking about around. So I'm just going to center this nicely. And I always like to give myself that little bleed margin or whatever you want to call it, because it does just make it easier when you're sublimating. Or when you're lining your design up. So we just got 2 pieces of heat tape. That's all that we need. Let's go ahead and head over to the heat press. Oh, Jasper's here to say hello. He's always happy to see you guys. Really, he just likes to be involved. All right. So when you sub aluminum, you're going to always sub it with your substrate face down and the transfer face up. So because I'm doing that, I want to make sure to put a piece of blowout paper down, just so if there is any ink blowout, it doesn't get all over my rubber mat and transfer into future substrates. So we'll put that down. Then our aluminum and a top sheet, especially because we have that outer edge of ink and we want to make sure none of it escapes and gets onto the top of our press. Same thing, don't want it to get on our future substrates. So we're going to press this with medium firm pressure at 400 degrees for, you can do 50 to 60 seconds. 60 seconds is kind of the standard for any aluminum that is thicker like this one is. If you're using some of the thinner ones, you can do them for 45 to 50 seconds. Because I'm using printer jack paper and it is a high release paper, they actually recommend that you do about 10 to 15 seconds less on your substrates than what is recommended by the substrate. So we're gonna go ahead and follow that rule, and we're gonna do this for 50 seconds, but just keep in mind that if you're using a different paper, 60 seconds might be your better option. I'm using my 16 by 20 heat press from acesdeals.net. You'll also notice we are no longer in the garage. I recently had a bunch of electrical work done so that we could be inside where it is toasty warm. One of the reasons I did this was because the white toner printer, which is over there, is very sensitive to heat and humidity. The transfer papers are, so to speak. So with that in mind, I didn't want to have to be trying to finagle my transfers in the cold. All right, so we've got just a couple more seconds. You want to make sure you have a heat glove because this is going to be hot. And then I'm just going to immediately, because this is very hot, stick it in the water. I know you guys couldn't see that little move, but it is very hot. So you kind of got to act quick. And then flip it. All right, so here it is in the bucket. It cools off very quickly, so I had already flipped it, so we got both sides. I'm gonna move you guys back over here so we can assemble our wreath and pull that out of there. And let me get the tape off of it. I'm just drying it off with a towel. There we go. All right. And just like that, you can see the colors look amazing. And I'm definitely glad I went with the 50 seconds just because if we had let this go for the extra 10 seconds, the red might have looked a little overcooked and very dark, which obviously is not what I was going for. So there's our aluminum. And now we're gonna go ahead and put together our wreath. So let me move this a little bit closer for you guys. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, actually I'll pull you guys out for this part. We're gonna go ahead and just layer our ribbon. So, kind of make it so you guys can see. I'm gonna do these snowflake ones underneath the red one. So you just kind of get them layered like that. Make sure that everything looks like it's about the same length. And I think we're pretty, all right, I think we're good. So what you're gonna do is when you've got all your ribbons together, you're gonna go to one end. So you can see we've got our end down here. And you wanna leave what you want for a tail. So I'm gonna leave about that much for a tail. And then you're just gonna start folding this, like this. Mind you, I've only successfully done this once. So you don't need huge loops, but it kind of depends on how big you want your bow. You want to hold it down at the bottom, and that's going to be where you keep bringing it back up. So we're just going to keep holding it there. See if I can turn this sideways. And bring our loops up. And again, keep holding it there at the bottom. Bring our loops. I promise you it took me like 4 to 6 attempts to even get my first successful bow. And I actually did contemplate not even showing you guys how to do this because that's how frustrating it was the first time. I was just going to be like, look, I made a bow and you can make one too. Here's a video on YouTube. That wasn't me. But there we go. So we've got all of our loops and we've got our tails. And what we're going to do is very carefully, try not to lose this, squeeze it all together, and we're going to tie a piece of string right around here. Now, you could probably use a zip tie. Really, you could probably use anything that you wanted. I'm just going to use some yarn. You want to make sure you get this nice and tight, and you want to make sure you don't let go of any of those loops. So I'm just going to wrap this around so it gets really, really tight. All right, so you can see I've wrapped it around. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tie it. And I'm trying, oh! I was about to say I'm trying to tighten it, and then I just managed to hit the tripod in the process because the yarn broke. So we'll, see, live videos are so much fun. All right, so let's try that again. We're going to get it nice and tight. I'm just going to set it down. There we go. So I'm going to tie this one more time. I know it's a little hard to see, but sometimes it's really hard to show you guys stuff on the tripod when I really need it more in front of me than anything else. Okay. So just like that, you see we tied it down. So the bottoms of our loops are all still there. And there's the top. So now what you're going to do is you're basically going to like feather out your ribbon. So you just kind of move your loops. You kind of twist them as you go. That's why you want to choose like a wired ribbon. And then you can even separate your different colors. So, which I'm going to do because I really want this to have like a nice full look. So you see, I'm just kind of folding, twisting as I go to give my ribbon that, or my bow, that full look. I totally understand why Martha Stewart's bows at Walmart are like $20, by the way. Because even though this doesn't seem like it's a lot of work, it's kind of a pain. So I'm just being honest here so you guys are prepared as you try and do these. All right, just got our last loop here. Let's pull that one that way. All right. Oops, so there's my bow. I am far from a professional bow maker, but you get the point. And then our tail ribbons, we'll just kind of pull forward like that. And this is ready for our wreath. We can actually trim off some of our excess ribbon, which I'm going to do so they're more the same length. Okay, so we got our ribbon, our bow, it's going to go on our wreath. Now let's pull our wreath forward so you can see, and we'll go ahead and get our plaque attached. I think I need to adjust this. There we go. All right, so where'd my scissors go? I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the tag that came on my wreath. And this is a little flat, you know, because these wreaths are in a box. So the first thing you might want to do is kind of fluff it out a little bit. And to fluff, for those of you who don't live in areas where you like or use fake trees a lot, you just kind of, you know, it's all wired, or all the pieces are made with wire, so you can just kind of fluff them out. It makes your wreath look fuller, and your Christmas tree. I spent an hour fluffing my Christmas tree, if you guys are wondering about that little project. And this one piece was a piece that fell out before. I'm just going to try and shove it back in. There we go. Okay. So I think we're about as fluffed as I'm going to be able to get it. I'm going to lower you guys just a little bit. There we go. So what you're going to want to do is determine where you want to put your hanger, your sign. And we're kind of trying to get this underneath the greenery. So I think it'll stay, yeah. So you can see what I'm talking about. This way I don't really have to worry about that piece that was bent, and it'll be easy. You could actually hot glue this. Honestly, I could leave this just as it is because it's stuck in there pretty good. You can see this is like one of those wicker wreaths, so it's pretty thick, so you could even use zip ties. I don't have any zip ties big enough, so that's why I was going to use string. But honestly, it's pretty secure, so I'm tempted just to leave it so I don't have to fight with the greenery. But for the sake of all of you, I will actually tie it. And again, you can use hot glue for this as well. So if you guys can see, I just stuck it through the hole there. I'm going to pull that string on the other side, and I'm just going to try and weave the string down in between the greenery because we don't want it to be visible. And again, this is for me. If I was professionally making this, I would probably use like clear jewelry wire so that you wouldn't be able to see it, although you can't really see it like this either. So I'm just going to flip that over and go ahead and tie this on the back. All right, so we just gave a little knotted bow there. Now we'll go ahead and do our other side. Sorry, this one piece is definitely in my way. So again, I'm just gonna stick my string through that hole and then grab it on the other side and pull it through, and then just try and get our string all the way down. It's getting kind of tangled, which is annoying. We just want to get it all the way down by the actual wreath form. Oh, I actually pulled it out. That's let's try that again. All right, get it all in between, flip it over. This is actually way too much yarn, so I'm gonna shorten that to make this a little part easier. And like I said, we're just gonna go tie it in a bow, tie it in a double knot, whatever you want to secure it. Okay, and there you can see our beautiful wreath with the sign. I'm just gonna fix some of these pieces and then we'll go ahead and attach our bow. And you don't have to do the bow. I mean, this is pretty beautiful on its own. The sublimation sign really just gives it that little extra, oomph, and you could put names on this, anything that you wanted. I tend not to do stuff with names on it for myself because I'm not married and I don't want to have to remake a whole bunch of stuff when I do get married. So someday though, guys, We're going to have so many tutorials when I get married, you guys aren't going to know what to do. It's going to be one of those crafted Pinterest types of weddings. All right, so I think we're pretty good on fluffing. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach my bow. All right. I mean, you can really put the bow wherever you want. I'm going to go right in here. I think that's going to work best. So I didn't really leave enough string for myself to tie it. That's okay, because I have the extra piece I just cut off. And I have ample yarn. This is actually yarn from a project I started years ago and did not end up doing anything with. All right, so to attach this, I just ran the string through one of the middle loops of the bow. Kind of a simple little approach here. Move it over so you can see it better. And basically, I'm just gonna reach down in and tie this. I know it's hard to see. I can't even see. But as you can see here, we just kind of wrapped it around. And I'll pull it and make it nice and tight. And then refix my bow, because now we flattened it. Well, you know, I kind of like the tails of the ribbon going up. So I think I'm just going to kind of tuck them like that. Let me set this up so you guys can get a nice straight view of it. And there we have it. Certainly if you planned on selling a lot of these, you would put a bit more effort into making it extra perfect. But again, this is just for me, and I am really happy this is exactly what I was going for the most part. I definitely need to work on my bow making skills. But all of the links for the products that we use tonight are in the video description. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And once again, if you haven't followed our YouTube channel, be sure to click over to that. And if you're joining us on YouTube, definitely head over to our Facebook group. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening and are excited for the next couple of weeks with the upcoming holiday season. Have a great day.